Good weekend, everyone. What a week this has been. Wanted to highlight, I pretty much can throw last week's analysis out the window because the market went crazy, as you all saw. We basically came from the bottom of this broadening formation all the way to the top of this one and even kind of blew through it, which was kind of crazy to see. Overall, I was not expecting this move. In my last week's analysis, I had drawn a fib from here to here, and my thesis was that we could, because we were kind of closing below it, that we would come back down a little bit, but we never did. It just blew through it. So once it did, it invalidated um, that thesis, and I was looking for more upside, especially because from a market structure shift, basically, we went from being down to really pushing back up on every time frame, especially if you're day trading, those the 4 hour, hourly. So you definitely want to look more for upside on pullbacks than because that's telling you that bulls are in control. So basically, that's kind of what happened last week. Um, Now going on to this week, the market closed with strength, but I did mention in my pre-market analysis on Friday that I would like to we would probably see some resistance at previous all-time highs for NQ, which we did kind of did. If you look on the hourly, we are kind of cutting close above it. So I want to see what happens next week because it can continue. It can either continue to push back up or we finally get some type of pullback that the market wouldn't mind basically. At this point, since we are at all-time highs for the upside, I'm mainly looking at standard deviation. Um, Especially helped me when Abby actually pointed it out in his morning preps. So thanks Abby for that. But basically drew it from this leg over here down to this leg where if you go down to the 4 hour, that's kind of like where we form that manipulation to the downside before pushing back up. And so yesterday, even Abby mentioned that he wouldn't be surprised if we we had this as resistance, and that's basically what happened. We hit the negative 0.15. So the next targets for me is this 77,335, especially if it blows through that, just look at the top of this broadening formation. Let me see that I drew. I think I drew it on the weekly. Yeah. So basically, um, look at if it blows through this -2, look for that top of that broad information. Um, Ideally, though, I do want us to start pulling back. What I plan to do is look for any swing highs that we form on the 4 hour, and you can draw a fib and then wait to see if it retraces down to the fib, before pushing back up. Um, if you look at SPY, it just has a bunch of gaps. I mean, gap central here, and you can start marking them and use those as well. Because if it does start to come down and it comes back below this broadening formation, then maybe we start filling some of those gaps. Of course, mark your previous all time highs because that could be some type of support as well. and then keep looking at those areas to see if we start to get pullback. From a VIX perspective, we can continue if it, I was kind of surprised that we were melting up and VIX wasn't coming down at all. So we can, I mean, it was coming down, but not, we didn't touch the 16 or 15. But if it really starts to come back down, then maybe that 1445 would be a good support area, or even lower at 1345. Keep an eye on that as we continue to come back down if we do. And then another indicator I like looking at is put call ratio or P call. And according to John F. Carter in his Mastering the Trade book, great book to read, put in a 10 moving average on it, which is this white line. And so watch it, and it's starting to come slope down. And I mean, this one sloped down really quick, really no pause. And as you see, put call ratio below zero point 0.5, if it starts to hit it a few days, then look for that reversal. You can see it back here, October 29. It kind of did it, and it came back down for a bit. November 28th, it kind of came down a few days, but then it kind of started to chop. So let's see, Thursday, October 9th. This one wasn't. Then we had that big day on October 10th, and then chop. So kind of wait and see, and that's kind of where we had the reversal as well, because we were almost at the one. Um, the actual, you know, P call did go above one a few sessions, and that's kind of like when we started to see that reversal forming as it started to slope down. So if you see this starting to kind of slope up, be careful with your calls. Like I said earlier, draw your make sure to draw your gaps. From SATI's indicators perspective, we're still in compression on the weekly, but we are at the +1 of the position range. And he also mentioned, let's see, that we open the Golden Gate, I think on SPX actually. We opened the Golden Gate for for the long term range, so that sometime this year there's a good chance we could hit 7,300. But yeah, this is also in compression. The daily, as you can see, is breaking out, and just be careful. It might it's above 100, so maybe eventually it starts to come back down. I would like for it to come back down into the ribbon, and then maybe more upside. And I mean the same excuse me, with the hourly. We've just been riding the ribbon. Even 10 minute, it's just been nonstop since the end of March. We just been we just been riding the wave basically. Just so that's why when I'm day trading, I've mainly been looking for pullbacks into the ribbon and seeing if the 10 minute 21 is holding. Um, Yesterday, we started to form here, a swing high, and it started to come back down into the ribbon. So if you're trading counter trending, so if you're playing puts, be careful and manage your risk right when it gets there. Um, the other days it was pretty clean where we would tap it and then come back up. Of course, Thursday we chopped So let's see what Monday brings as well. Eventually I will look for puts once the 10 minutes starts to kind of reverse and look like it wants to vomit. Because when you're riding a trend, a lot of times the divergence doesn't really work as well. But yeah, overall this week, just being cautious because we are extremely overextended, but that doesn't mean that the market will stop or reverse. I definitely want confirmation and don't want to be basically the first one to try to find a reversal because as you've seen, if this week, if you would have tried puts, you probably would have just been cooked. So good luck, everyone, and hope everyone has a great week. Thank you.